What's up, guys? Local Bulls fan here. It's been a while since I made a video. I've been trying to do one. I have like videos recorded and attempted, but I never really like got through with them. Partially because of this up and down season. Another reason is because I've just been busy with school. This is my last year in college, so I gotta make sure I'm all in. But I think this is the one. This one feels like it. This one feels good. So I'm gonna jump straight into basketball. So, as you can tell, the Bulls have just been disappointing. They've been lackluster, up and down. I frankly value the downs more than ups because at the end of the day, you. You have more glaring holes. Every team should. It's an NBA team. Every team has an up some way somehow. The Houston Rockets lead the NBA in offensive rebounds. That is an up. Every team has an up. So it's a tale of two teams. On one end, we have everyone playing hard, unselfish, fast-paced basketball. The other end is just all right. I gotta get my touches in. Gotta go ISO. Gotta do this. I'm not. I'm playing the role. I'm gonna sit back, let them do their thing. It's not another side of the coin. Another coin would just be the young core, the developing side of Bulls basketball with Io, Kobe, Pat, and then our veterans, our all-stars, quote unquote, with DeMar, Vooch, and Zach. And it's all over. It's messy. It's very messy. You have Alonzo still out too, the one that kept it together. But all this to say is just the team needs to pick a direction in some type of way. We don't have our pick, so it's not like we're just sucking for giggles, I keep over the past months I've been reading. Are we gonna? It seems like the front office wants to stay and wait for Lonzo to come back. You can't rebuild because you just put all these guys together. You can't fire Billy Donovan because you just extended him. You can't take apart the core because when they play good together, they eventually get it right. You can't go into the tats because ownership is cheap. You can't leave out Vooch of the offense because he's the quote-unquote playmaking hub. He's not that good of a passer. He's not Nikola Jokic or Sabonis. He's barely even, at this point, Nurkic. You can't trade any more picks because you're beating a dead horse. So what can you do? What is possibly being able to be done? I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but it's time to truly look at your options. If you can't do any of those things, what could a team possibly do in order to pick a direction on where they want to go, to right the ship, to actually go somewhere? Because as of right now, in field goal attempts, we're 19th. We are 28th in offensive rebound. We're dead last in 3-point attempts. We're 22nd in block attempts, 19th in assists, and 9th in personal fouls. What that says to me is that those stats alone, we're not really experts at anything. I look at teams like Brooklyn, for example. They're damn near top 15 in just about every stat that matters. Besides attempts, they're almost top 15 in all those. They were able to right their ship with their players. Something they did, they fired Steve Nash. They didn't want to. Kevin Durant wanted the whole drama. They pulled through. Not to say I want Billy Donovan fired. I kind of do, but that's one of the they have to pick an option. They signed him to an extension. Atlanta Hawks fired their head coach not too long ago when they signed him to an extension. You gotta pick a direction. Boston, everyone keeps buying into this fantasy of the Bulls having the Boston-like season, which they're not. They're not. I mean, I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. Why? Because this was years in the making. Years of Eastern Conference exits in the playoffs, years of trial and error with their vets. They had their core when they first got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown was Kyrie, Al Horford, Gordon Hayward. That was the team. That was gonna look like, all right, they're gonna press on with Tatum too, and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. But Horford's like the only one left out of those vets, like especially with the trial and error of Kemba, Dennis Schroeder. Only until they just got their groove through trial and error, through a new head coach. They've been through it. They were just winning in the process with their young guys because they were getting the play. Tatum and Brown weren't dropping 25 a night, 30 points a night over like, in their first season. They came in 9, 10 points, 12 points in their rookie season. Even in their second season, even in their third, they weren't doing all that. So we got to give up that fantasy. We have to. It's time to, you have to do one of those options. Are you going to sit and wait for Lonzo? Because if so, that's not really working. Lonzo's not going to come back to much. Just a dysfunctional, upset basketball team with a lot of pressure on him, which is unfair. I personally believe he is more valuable than Vucevic on this team. But that's still a lot of pressure to put on one player, and that shouldn't be the case. Brooklyn's going to still try to win with Kevin Durant. Golden State's going to try to win while Steph was hurt. It's same thing with the Lakers. They're trying to win without AD. It's just, that's the case. They need to pick a direction. I have those videos of just talking about, oh yeah, we got to do a rebuild. As much as I personally like to, it's not realistically going to happen. But they got to pick something. They got to pick an option. You can't just, if you can't go into tats, that's fine. This team's not worth going and spending money for. But what are you going to do then? What are you possibly going to do? I think firing Billy Donovan should be on the table the most, and trading away some of your core. Your core being those two players, in my opinion, Alex Caruso and Nikola Vucevic. For firing Billy, my reasoning behind it is I've never seen a play ran where it's fully executed and we're just like, wow, that is great. That was a competent basketball. He's a competent coach. He's just not the coach I believe we need. He didn't have a winning culture in OKC. He doesn't develop players. Victor Oladipo and Sabonis went off in Indiana. They showed how they were good players in Indiana, not in OKC. But Russ was already the guy. Name me a player that developed under Billy Donovan in OKC. I would like to know a player that like developed, because that didn't happen. He's a player's coach, but like he's not the coach I feel we need. He's not the motivating coach. He's not the one drawing up X's and O's. He's not doing that. He's regurgitating the same thing over and over again. He's not. On top of that, his relationship with Zach LaVine isn't the best anymore. You have to take the L somewhere. You can't just sit there pouting, hoping it works out. Just admit you messed up and try to fix it. I want to trade Alex Caruso and Nikola Vucevic. As to why Caruso, we just have Kobe and Ayo and Goran have been holding on the guard position, and Caruso, he could bring in the most, as well as we need size and shooting. Right now, he's very much valued. I like him on the Bulls team. I like Caruso a lot. It's just, he's not what we need at the moment. He's not the 3-point shooting or the rebounding. He's not. He's shooting great, a percentage, don't get me wrong. But he's a value. He's valuable. You got to give up something to get something. As well as since he's on a longer deal too, it helps out. And for Vucevic, he slows down the offense more than DeMar. I've never seen 80s basketball be ran in modern day NBA until he was on this damn team. They spend an entire play trying to feed him in the post. You can't feed him in the post, not because no one knows how to do it properly. You have Goran doing it, veteran point guard. But it's easily to be guarded. It's easy. And he takes so long to get in his spot. He takes so long to do it. He's frankly not Akeem Olajuwon. I tried looking for a pattern between his performance and us winning games, but there is no pattern. That there isn't any pattern whatsoever. He's on an expiring deal. We lost the trade, and that is okay. I'm not focused on any of that now. But he's taking away touches from your young guys, and it's derailing any sort of development you want on your team. It is derailing it. I don't see Pat, Io, Toby getting the touches they need. Because they gotta. Io can't dish it out to Vucevic because he can't catch passes anymore. Fast passes in the paint. Patrick Williams is not your shot blocking Jaren Jackson Jr. 4. He's not. He's not a stretch 5. It's the same situation with Laurie. More of the ball handling, more of that type. So he doesn't fit with that. That's okay. But I'd much rather let Patrick Williams cook to see what we have. And if it's just a 3-and-D guy, that is fine. Then a guy who's about to retire within like 5 years because his game is not translating well. This is not to say Vooch isn't a good player. This is not me saying he's not going to succeed in another place, but he just doesn't fit this flow of the offense. And at the end of the day, it's time for the Bulls to actually make a decision, and people just stop saying, oh, they can't do this because it means that. Can't do this. At the end of the team, every team is messed. At the end of the day, every franchise is messed up some sort of way and have righted the ship. We see that with Brooklyn. We see that with Boston. Boston was just winning while they're doing it. We see that with OKC. They were first round exits every year. Lost to like rookie Donovan Mitchell. They threw in their hat and decided to rebuild. Now they look promising. Now they're going to get to where they need to get to. It's frankly time for this team to truly just pick a direction on where they want to go. Whether they want to keep Zach and DeMar, which I'm fine with, and let the young guys develop with them, or blow it up. You have to admit a mistake. You have to just... I don't see how you just sit here and just, all right, and do nothing. It's ugly basketball. It's just not... It's not good. It's not good at all. Well, thank you guys for listening. I know this wasn't more of a positive video than anything, but I feel like all these things have needed to be said. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to try to put one out maybe like once a month to get a good sample size of the feel. Because especially with this team up and down, there's really no point of just creating video. Oh, yeah, they're great. They're back. And they're not. Like, it doesn't make sense. Hopefully, we'll see something in trade deadline. Hopefully, we see this team roster get shaken up because it has to, even in the front office. And just hope for the best. I might put out I might do one of the videos about how I would approach the rebuild if they were to do that, because that's more of my option. So we'll see. Thank you so much. All right, have a good night, morning, whatever you're listening to this on. Thank you. Peace.